how we got here. How we got here today, our question of the day is about convenience stores, and that's our topic here as well.
Yes, because recently, as I mentioned, in Malaysia, the C and the U brand, if you put that together, it's a Korean convenience store name, opened up its first store in Malaysia. There were some guests of honor at the convenience store as well, including the South Korean ambassador, as well as business heads, because there were a lot of keen media attention on this.
Okay.
Because Korean convenience stores, definitely in Southeast Asia, have got a lot of buzz online because there's so many YouTubers out there filming just how great they are, you know, what stuff you can eat there, what you can do at a Korean convenience store. So they got over 11,000 customers on their first day.
Get out.
Yeah, it's insane pretty much.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And there were queues to get into the convenience
That's
store.
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's located inside a mall in Kuala Lumpur. And there are other foreign brands, but no Korean ones in Malaysia. So this brand in particular wants to become the number one. It's aiming to open about 500 stores in 5 years.
I mean, I kind of get it, you know. I mean, everybody knows about the Korean wave, right? The music, the dramas, the movies, things like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But there's probably not a spot in Malaysia where you can go to get Korean snacks outside of maybe like a market somewhere.
Sure.
Where maybe there's a Korean food store.
Yeah.
But that's kind of something that people, you really kind of have to go out of your way to get to, right?
Yeah.
In a mall, if you could get in there and try some snacks from Korea. I'm assuming there's a lot of snacks from Korea.
Lots of Korean products. Obviously, there's lots of Malaysian products as well because it's a convenience store for Malaysian customers.
Sure.
But all the top selling items were, over the last 10 days since it opened, the Korean items. Things like instant tteokbokki, you know, the one in cups that you just pour in boiling water
Yeah,
and whatnot.
right.
Sold 2,500 cups in 10 days. Then some cooking foods like instant 닭강정. You know, the kind of marinated fried chicken. That was number 2. Korean-style hot dogs and black bean sauce tteokbokki as well. Accounted for nearly 40% of the sales.
You know, it's cute almost because that stuff, we take it for granted because we have it here.
Sure.
You know, if they open a Malaysian convenience store in a mall in Korea, I'm sure there'd be a certain level of interest as well for Malaysian snacks. It's just you want the stuff that you can't get normally, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So in Korea, just a few stats before we travel back in time a bit. For convenience stores, there are over 41,000 in the country now.
In Malaysia?
Here
in Korea.
Yeah, so coming back to Korea, we're going to talk about the history here. And the sales are topping 22 trillion won. And most customers, over 60%, are in their 20s or 30s. So it's kind of where youngsters go, especially single people, they say, is the main target, just going for a snack or something like that. But it's the only business that has seen double-digit growth in sales every year since about 2011 till the latest figures in 2018, I think it
almost
was.
a decade. That level of growth every year. Got here. Pete gave us a stat: 41,000, over 41,000 here in the country. Kate, you found a fun statistic during that break too.
I did. Apparently, there's a particular convenience store that recently started a service of delivering, like selling whole chicken, fried chickens from the store. And it turns out every 39 seconds, one chicken was sold.
Every 39 seconds.
That's not even a minute.
From
So
the
it's like-
convenience store.
From the convenience store.
I didn't even know you could buy a whole fried chicken from a convenience store.
I didn't until I read this too.
You can do so many things. But let's go back to where it all started. Not that long of a history, actually, when compared to maybe the States, where I think it was in maybe the 20s that convenience stores first popped up. In Korea, 1982. And it's linked to, actually, the curfew being abolished. You know, Korea had a curfew after the war, after liberation, in fact, from Japan in 1945. That lasted till the early 80s. And so convenience stores didn't exist. It was just small mom and pop stores, the shupa, as you'd say, the 동네 shupa. But in 1982, the Odde brand, they released or launched their first version of a convenience store, which was open coincidentally 7 to 11, like the American brand.
Okay,
It didn't do so well, though, because it was not competitively priced. Like a lot of the items were far more expensive than if you went to the supermarket. These days, you can still see that. Like convenience stores, they are slightly more expensive, but they have the deals and whatnot. And also, it was much bigger bigger. It was almost twice the size of the average convenience store today, which is only about 73 square meters. You know, the little ones were maybe 2 or 3 aisles. So it's about double that size. So they couldn't sustain it. A few others launched, but it was 1989 until we got some good convenience stores, ones that were popular.
Not so long ago then.
Yeah, absolutely. It's only been, about 30 years or so. And this time, many foreign brands also came in, a few that have closed down now. So I think I can mention their names like Lawson, AMPM from the States, Circle K, and By the Way, which has changed names, I believe. You remember we used to have that in the 2000s?
I
I do, yeah.
Yeah, and they've completely changed that. Family Mart as well. That name has completely gone out the window, right?
Right.
I don't know if I realized both of those are no longer.
Yeah, they've rebranded them. So they're different names that we probably can't say on air now. But in 1989, just 4 years later, in 93, there were 1,000 outlets. So they were starting to do really well because they were aiming at the right target, especially young double working couples, double income couples, and single people as well. And the mainstays, the staples, have kind of stayed the same across the years. We're talking about the triangle kimbaps and the bottled water cup noodles that you could eat in convenience stores pretty much from the beginning.
Sure. Plus, you get your the odd canned good like canned tuna. You get some mayonnaise in there.
Yeah.
You get your snacks like your yukpo. How do you say yukpo in English? Jerky. Jerky.
Yeah.
And
A bit in Korea too.
a little bit, yeah.
And the alcohol as well. Like soju used to be much more popular, but nowadays it's beer.
Now, that's a culture difference between where I'm from in Canada and here in Korea. Where I'm from in Canada, you cannot buy beer or any alcohol in a convenience store.
You have to go to the liquor store, right?
Yeah, you have to go to
Completely
We
separate.
call it a liquor commission. So it's a store that's licensed to sell that. You need a government license.
Right.
Convenience stores can't sell it.
Oh, yeah. There are some news agents in the UK that do sell it, but it is rare. You're right. Whereas here, it's ubiquitous. They go hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
And many people often buy all their alcohol from there because, like, 4 for Manon for the beers for
Right.
10,000 won and other
Yeah.
deals. And then, kind of midway through the development, late 90s, early 2000s, you know, they started really sticking out compared to maybe even their original American stores or Japan, which is also famous. Do you remember? It was a mind-blowing thing to me, phone charging at convenience stores.
Yeah, right. It would cost $1, right?
Yeah, you'd leave your phone there and they'd charge it for like half an hour.
Oh,
or
I
so.
remember when I was in my 20s, you know, a night out
Yeah.
in Hongdae, you know, on the weekend, and your battery's getting low, and you got to leave the club and go to the convenience store and charge it.
I don't know what
for
you're
an
talking
hour.
about, Steve. No idea.
They probably ran into you once or twice, Kate.
There were no portable battery packs back then. They used to even
Right.
do the service where they'd just give you a clip-on battery, you know, and swap yours for
Oh, yeah.
theirs because that's what mobile phones used to be like,
The
right?
clip-on batteries, right?
Yeah, and then they moved on in terms of the food. They'd have the big moon breads. What do we call them? The buns with the red beans inside.
Okay.
Going round and round. Sausage on a stick and microwavable burgers. You know, it was getting more classy, but still not anywhere near we are today. That was like the early 2000s.
Yeah, the food that you can get in convenience stores has really kind of they've upped their game
Right.
over the years. I mean, it used to be just very simple stuff and stuff that you may like worry about questioning when you were, you know, shopping late at night if you were hungry for something to eat.
Yeah.
You know, but now you don't even think about it. And sometimes the stuff is really, really good.
Yeah, Baek Jong-won has his own line, the famous chef of lunchboxes, which are delicious from the convenience store.
Let's keep going all the way to the end of the first hour. Yeah, the doshiraks, they're kind of...
They really
right?
made a huge improvement over the years. So much so that I believe that when tourists come and they kind of, you know, they're on a budget,
Yeah.
they'll actually schedule out like, oh, we'll do our breakfast at the convenience store
That's
instead of
where
actually
they'll
going
eat.
to a shop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not bad, and it's Korean cuisine you're
Yeah.
getting there, right? It's way better than one of those microwavable hamburgers. But then once the number of stores reached about 10,000, which was only about 2010-11, so since then we've quadrupled,
Oh
right?
my gosh.
Crazy. But when it was 10,000, it was focusing on accessibility. As long as you're the convenience store in that neighborhood, you're going to get foot traffic,
Sure.
right? But once we started hitting the numbers 20,000, 30,000, 30,000 and now more than 40,000. It's about killer content, they say.
Oh.
Because you're going to have convenience stores within 200 meters of each other.
So what does killer content mean?
It means you need something that another convenience store doesn't have. You've got to add an extra layer of convenience.
Maybe
right?
hence the fried chicken delivery.
Maybe, yeah.
Yes. And so banking, what I was talking about earlier, I'm sure we all know that many have ATMs in them, right? Which is a convenience service. But at many branches, you may not have known, but you can even get a new check card. You can change your password and set up payments for bills.
Oh, my.
At a convenience store.
What?
Yeah. So if you
They'll give you a new bank card?
Yeah, absolutely. At many of these larger convenience stores that you'll find, my neighborhood has one as well. Some even give loans.
What?
You can get a loan at your convenience store.
So you apply for a loan to the bank at a convenience store.
Yes, they're doing it like kind of on the bank's behalf.
So is there a separate, again, I've never seen this before. Is it a separate section of the convenience store where you go and sit down and there's someone from the bank there? Or is this like while you're buying your eggs, you're also asking the 16-year-old part-time worker for a loan for your house?
I think it works at my convenience store. There's another counter just on the other side. And you're not like sitting down. It is like you're filling out an application with a piece of paper. The same employees are doing those two jobs. And then they will submit that to the bank. And within minutes, you'll get an answer.
Is that right?
Whoa.
I'm blown away by
Yeah.
My one, we talked about the post, so you can send parcels and letters. That's easy and straightforward. My one also accepts all forms of setak, so laundry. You take your old clothes, your shoes if you want them cleaned.
Yeah.
You put them in a box there, and then they deliver back to you or back to the convenience store.
But, so I've been seeing a lot of packages at my convenience store recently. And I didn't know why.
Okay.
But I've also never seen the convenience store advertise any of these services. This is just something that people are supposed to know.
Yeah, a lot of the time there's loads of services that convenience stores do, but if you don't ask, you won't know.
Because I don't want to walk into the convenience store with my laundry that needs to be done.
We don't accept
The
that
poor
here.
kid look at me like, what do you want me to do with that?
Yeah, my one, it does have the sign, but there's a lot of services. Like many of them will have started to sell crazy things. Like you could buy camping cars, like actual camping cars. There was an offer, not you're going to pick them up from the convenience store, but you make your purchase there. For also foldable homes, like mobile homes.
Wow.
You could buy those through the convenience store. Airplane tickets as well, you can buy from certain convenience stores as well in Korea. There's literally not much that you can't do now at some of these places because they're trying to distinguish themselves.
I had such an embarrassing convenience store story happen to me once. In a place where I used to live in my younger years, I lived in an apartment building, and there was a really beautiful woman who lived there, and I kind of had a crush on her.
Okay.
Now, I never talked to her,
Okay.
right? I don't know if she was in a relationship or if she was single. She didn't wear a wedding ring, that much I know. And
Wow,
she
very
was like
observant.
she was like my little apartment crush.
Okay.
So I went to and I rarely saw her, though,
Okay.
right? One night I went to the convenience store right in front of the building, and they had a 1+1 on bathroom tissue.
Okay.
And it was a 36 roll pack.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
But they had 1+1. It was an amazing deal for like 12,000won or something for like
Yeah.
$12.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't pass that up.
Okay.
So off I go out of the convenience store with my 72 rolls of bathroom tissue.
Yeah.
And I get in the elevator, and who's there but my apartment crush? It's only her and I. And
She's looking at you.
and this is huge. So I got to like stack one on top of the other. And she just looks down at the bathroom tissue and then looks at me. And I didn't know what to say, so I just said, day 1+1.
Smooth operator, Steve.
Like, no, it's not what you think. You would have been really popular and scored some points at the beginning of the pandemic, if that happened at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, it wasn't that, though. And I scored no points whatsoever.
Okay.
Thanks for that, Pedro. 100 years of wisdom. 100 years of wisdom. Kate takes over. The Quizmaster.
Yes. Well, I have a bit of a convenience store quizzes for you guys. And off with the first question. Well, one of the first franchise convenience stores to open up in the U.S. is a store that rhymes with Evan in Heaven. Evan in Heaven.
Love it.
Yeah. And the store, the store got its name because they started off the operating hours when they first began the store was from 7 a.m. all the way to 11 p.m. at night.
Right.
And although many stores don't operate at those hours any longer. But in Korea, many of those Evan and Heaven stores actually run for 24 hours,
This
right?
is true.
So here's the question I want to ask. Why does the Korean convenience store that starts with a G have 25 in their name?
Okay. I'm guessing it's because they're saying that we're open for 24 plus 1, indicating we never close.
Like emphasizing.
Yeah,
the
like
fact, right?
emphasizing.
We're open not 24 hours a day, 25 that don't even exist hours a day.
Right.
Interesting.
That's
Pete,
my
you got a
guess.
guess?
25. Does 25 link to anything else? Days,
So
months?
the number of seasons on like the old calendar or something?
Oh, like the
Oh, the
divisions of the seasons.
Right.
That's very close. I think it's 24 as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with Steve. I think it's just going overboard. Like we work not 24/7, 25/7 or 25/8.
25/8, adding another day to the week.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Well, you guys are very, very close. Actually, I think it should count as a point.
Okay.
Because the extra plus 1 that they added into the 25 is in fact something that symbolizes that they'll go the extra to give you the best service possible that they can add on top of the 24 hours that they add. So that's the whole symbol behind the 25.
One of the funniest things I've ever heard comes from a connection to this particular convenience store brand. I was at the Olympics, and it was one of those moments where, as an expat, you kind of forget things that you've gotten used to, but when you first came here, you were confused by.
Sure.
So we had watched a hockey game at the Olympics, and we left the facility and we were walking down the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And there was a group of people behind us, another group of expats, and you could tell from the way that they were talking that some of them lived here, and maybe one or two of the guys were visiting, had never been to Korea before.
Okay.
Sure.
So they were talking about, oh, that was a cool game. Yeah, it was awesome to see, being at the Olympics, whatever. Hey, boys, let's go get some beers. And this, if you're familiar with the ice hockey area where the Olympics were, there's no bars around there or anything.
Yeah.
And one guy said, oh, but there's no bars around here, I don't think. And the other guy said, don't worry, let's just go to the GS 24 plus 1.
Yeah.
And I didn't react at all.
Sure.
But one of the members goes, what in the heck is a GS24 plus 1? And I burst out laughing because I thought, yeah, right. If you're new to the country, that makes no sense to you whatsoever.
Sounds weird for a bar name or just convenience store drinking.
We laughed so hard at that. He was like, what is that?
I probably would have said the same if I were ever in England and somebody said, let's go to the newsagent.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Exactly. That was a funny moment. Convenience store quiz question number 2.
Well, there is a competitor convenience store to the one that we mentioned earlier that starts with the C that Pete mentioned a little bit earlier. They get their name from CVS for you. CVS being an abbreviation for convenience store.
Oh, that's what it means.
Yeah.
I thought it meant just like, see you later.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit odd, like see you.
Like,
yeah.
we see you.
Yeah. we
Well,
see you.
Interesting, though, because they did get their name kind of on the play of the English phrase see you, like I see you,
Right.
but it has 2 different meanings that they put into that whole thing.
Okay.
What are the 2 meanings to the phrase see ya that inspired the name of the store?
2 meanings.
2 meanings.
Well, I'm going to guess one is see you next time.
Okay.
Like, that's the kind of answer we're looking for here?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Okay, so
Oh.
see you next time, meaning like, thanks for coming.
Sure.
See you again.
Yeah.
더 봬요.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay, see you again. That is correct.
Oh, that's one. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pete, you get the next one.
See you. See and link to see you. What else do you say?
Don't steal anything. We're watching you.
We see you.
See
We're
you.
watching.
The implication of security cameras everywhere.
If it wasn't
good one.
Korea, I could believe that. Yeah, but here everyone's so nice. See you. See you. What would that be an abbreviation for? Convenience. Unrivaled. That sounds brilliant. They should use that if they're not.
Oh, as in like the I
An
see you.
abbreviations. Convenience unrivaled.
Oh,
That's quite good.
you should pitch that to their
I will.
brand.
I'm going now.
Or
I'm
just
leaving early
start
today.
your own convenience store.
Yeah, that's not it. But it's actually quite simple.
Okay.
What is it?
It's just, hey, good to see you.
Oh,
good to see you.
See you next
Yeah.
time and good to see you.
Yeah, so it's like
that's
a double
nice.
meaning. It's like,
Okay.
Let's squeeze in one last question.
all right, here's a quick one. What is something you won't see in a Korean convenience store from the following? A, an extension cord for sale. B, a ginseng latte drink. C, concert tickets. And D, a plant burger for vegans.
Oh, I love this question.
This is tricky.
Yeah, this is the hardest of the three. Plant burger. What was the third option, please?
Concert tickets.
Concert tickets.
So I know for a fact in my local convenience store, they
Yeah.
sell extension cords. So I
Yes.
hope that's not the right answer because I've seen it and they must be doing it under the counter
Right.
otherwise.
Okay.
So
I
I think
have
we can rule
actually
that
also
out.
bought extension cords
Okay.
at a convenience store.
Let's scratch that off the list. But the rest of them, ginseng latte, concert tickets, and plant burger for vegans. Well, they do have, and the coffee shop, the convenience store coffee now.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty legit.
Yeah, it's from a proper machine.
Yeah, but the one at my place, I don't think it has options outside of Americano, ice Americano, latte, ice latte.
Me too.
I think that's it. So
But if you think about the coffee drinks, there's multiple kinds that you see on the racks, not something that's on the machine, from the machines.
right. You're
Yes.
talking about sorry. I was thinking brewed coffee.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because they actually do really good deals with different coffee brands these days.
I'm going to guess then ginseng latte is not the answer we are looking for.
Oh, what about you, Peter?
So concert tickets I saw earlier when I was doing my research, and I forgot to mention you can get even baseball tickets from convenience stores for
Really?
baseball games. So
Wow.
I assume concert tickets, yeah, why not? If you can get baseball tickets.
It's so amazing and so weird.
So random,
It's,
yeah.
it's weird, but it's awesome, right?
Yeah.
And then plant-based burgers, I've not seen them, but
Neither
why
have I.
couldn't you?
Neither have I. Maybe they just haven't gotten there yet. Pete, do you
Yeah.
want to go? Should we do it together? D, plant burgers? I haven't seen
I'm
them
going
yet.
to go ginseng latte. That's my
Really?
gut. Yeah.
I'm going to go plant burger.
You guys are both incorrect.
Oh no,
Concert
is it
tickets?
concert?
Concert tickets actually are sold in Japanese convenience stores, which I found really interesting.
But not
in
Korea yet.
Korea.
Okay.
They do have a ginseng latte drink from a really famous brand, the Star Blanc one.
No,
and
thank
the
you.
plant burger for vegans, they're actually trying to incorporate a lot more vegan instant meals in convenience
And
stores.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. No concert tickets yet, though. Well, concerts usually sell out so quickly here
Online.
that having them
Yeah.
in convenience stores they wouldn't last anyway,
Sure.
would they? All right. Thanks for the quiz, Kate. When we come back,